Hey folks, welcome back to another one pot meal. This one's very simple. Most of them are being the one pot meals, but by design. But this one's super easy. I've done it in video before, I think. Buddy, real good friend of mine, actually had a question and wanted the recipe, so if you're watching, here it is, man. Kale soup, right? And there's a couple different ways you could do this. There's a traditional Portuguese soup, and then there's kale soup, and they're interchangeable sometimes, but if you're Portuguese, not so much. So there is a difference there. However, I've seen it done a ton of different ways by different people, you know, and it's whatever you want personally. Really, you don't have to stick to, you know, a recipe to the number per se, but I'm a big fan of this one. The Portuguese soup is a little bit thicker than this one. Turns out to be this one's more soup, like a watery or broth type of texture to it, where the Portuguese soup is thicker again. So I just have some chourico. Actually, this is linguica. You can use either or both, and I do both typically. And my wife used the last of the kidney beans on me, so I had to dig some out of a different soup. So there they are. Not many. I like them, they're good beans, but I don't care for a whole bunch of them, so that should be plenty for the one pot meal here. So kidney beans, again, a linguica or chourico. This happens to be linguica this time. I'm going to use a little bit of this and just cut it up, and then I have some Polish sausage, which is kielbasa, which I like pretty well too, you know. Meat in there. Two small potatoes. I don't like a whole bunch of potato in mine, but smaller you cut it up, the easier, quicker it'll cook, right? Skin on there, isn't gonna hurt anything. I'm just going to use half of the kielbasa. Then the kale, obviously. And I love kale, so I'm going to pack it in before I add the water to it as best I can. Then I'm going to fill it with water, and then once it's on the heat and it cooks down, obviously that kale is going to get, you know, sogged out, if you will, and become, will take up much less room in the pot. So at that point I'll even add more kale. So. Alright, I'm going to add water to that and get it on the fire. some of that broth in there. A little salt and pepper. So good. Yeah, it's like a good, you know, Italian sauce recipe, you know. If you're doing this inside on a stove or something like that, the longer you let it sit there and simmer, or a crock pot even, or just hang it over your fire at camp all day and just let it sit there and simmer, it actually gets better with time. Like I was saying in the beginning, I've seen people put pasta in it as well, you know, elbows and stuff like that, and it's definitely good that way too. My family never really made it that way, more this way. Less the kielbasa, didn't really use kielbasa, it was usually, you know, chorizo and linguica. So absolutely fantastic. Only thing this is missing is a nice big Portuguese roll with some butter on it. But damn good other than that. Well, thank you guys for joining me for another one. Hopefully I can knock a couple more of these out. Quick recipes on the one pot meals, so you guys can check them out. So thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.